If you don't know anything about rugby, don't talk.
Gregan. Drop goal from Larkham.
Australian 3-4, they've got the advantage.
Worst press conference. Well done, boys.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the G&GR Teams podcast for the week. I'm the Happyman. Sully and KARL are with me tonight. KARL is back because the All Blacks obviously got the win. We're just going to quickly go through the Wallaby squad for the upcoming game, the All Blacks and the English squad as well, and touch on a few bits and pieces. Again, everyone, thanks for your support. Download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those good things, and help us to grow the show. We had a good uplift in listenership last week, and we really appreciate it. How you going, Sully?
Good, mate. Good. Just basking in the feeling of winning a Test match. Like it's an odd feeling in July for the Wallabies to come away with a win first up. So yeah. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. What was your highlight for the week?
Just the workmanship and just the feeling that team was building towards something that was like a goal that they weren't perfect by a long way, but you could see a plan, the beginnings of a plan, and they were going in a direction and they're all pulling in the same direction. I thought it. So yes, that was the highlight of my week for the Wallabies, and obviously watching the Wallaroos get their act together again, together beforehand and just obliterate the Fijiana. That was pretty impressive.
Exactly. KARL, welcome back. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Sorry, last week we had a bit of referee training last week, so I couldn't make it. Despite what a lot of people think, yes, we do train, and it's not all guesswork in the scrums, but there we go.
Very good. Very good. Was it scrum training last week or?
Yeah, scrum training last week. Actually, it was good. Just bits and pieces about what people are doing and why. I still think the best scrum training I ever got was with Cron in New Zealand when he came. We spent 2 complete days on nothing but scrum work with him taking us through, and it was brilliant. But yeah, no, always good to learn to get different ideas from different people about the different things, and what people are trying to do in the scrum on different parts of the field and that. So it's good to see, good to get.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube with him, which is fascinating stuff to watch. Yeah, my highlight was spent last Saturday at a community game with a whole group of dads, and we watched various people play, and may have had a very good afternoon of it. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
So yeah, most enjoyable. Just outline. We're just going to go through the teams. I'll read them out. We'll have a chat about them and go from there. Finish with a bit of shouting at clouds. The Australian team for this week, we've got Slipper at loose head, Vasler at hooker, Taniela Tupou starts again at tight head. Jeremy Williams and Lukine Salakaia-Loto are in the row. Rob Valentini, Fraser McWright, and Charlie Cale are in the back row. Charlie Cale's got his starting debut. Jack Gordon, Nola Siu in at 9 and 10. Filippo Dangunu and Andrew Callaway are on the wings. Hunter Paisami and Josh Fluke reconnect again in the centres with Tom Wright at fullback. Substitutes Josh Nasser, which will be his debut. Isaac Kalia, Alan Alatoa, Angus Blythe, Langy Gleeson, Nick White, Ben Donaldson, and Dylan Peach. I'll go through the Welsh team as well. The Welsh team is Cameron Winnett, Liam Williams, Owen Watkin, Mason Grady, Rio Dyer, Ben Thomas, Ellis Bevan, Tane Plumtree will be at 8, Tommy Raffel at 7, James Botham at 6, Duffett Jenkins and Chris Chunza in the second row. Archie Griffin, Dewey Lake, and Gareth Thomas will be in the front row with the replacements of Ewan Lloyd, Kemsley Matthias, Harry O'Connor, Corey Hill, Mackenzie Martin, Kieran Hardy, Sam Costello, and Nick Tompkins. Sully, what did you like about the Australians last week? What did you dislike about the game? And what do you think of the Australian team, and would you make any changes?
No, I think the game was a typical Australian first up game where it was like 4 different teams or 5 different teams sort of who are used to pulling in different directions, and they're trying to get their act together and all pull in the same direction. And for the most part, they got it right. I mean, they did about half an hour of pulling, doing the things that Joe Schmidt and his team want to do, and then they got a bit tired and things started to go a bit awry, I think. But no, I liked that the scrum looked good. Taniela Tupou, whatever Mike Cron did to Taniela Tupou, or whoever talked to Taniela Tupou, because he actually looked interested, was exceptional. Jeremy Williams had a great debut. Solokai Lotto had some great good moments. The back row all seemed to be working in unison. Jake Gordon had an exceptional match. I was worried about him before because I've seen him in goal before and he's had some average games. I think I'm happy that Noah Lalicio has got another cap because he seemed to have an off night. So I'm happy that he's been given another chance to have a go. And I'm pretty happy that the same backline's been given another chance to have another run, because I think there was a few nervous people in that back line, and just to give them a chance to bed it in and to have another crack at it is probably a good idea. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm hoping that we can get another win up. I mean, when I looked at the stats, and I know stats aren't everything, we pretty much dominated most set pieces, tackling, meters gained, kicking stats, everything was going Australia way. We just couldn't convert to points, which is a bit worrying. But yeah, I was happy with it. First up win, and I'm thinking hopefully we can do a bit better this time. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the last week's and what I think is going to happen this week.
Yeah. KARL, what do you think?
I really like that they've kept the same backline, and in fact haven't made too many big changes. Especially in the run-on pack, I think obviously Charlie KARL coming in because of injury is one that you just have to live with, because injuries happen. But I think that having a bit of continuity without all those wild changes that they've been doing for the past. To be fair, even under Dave Rennie, Jones wasn't alone in bloody throwing people in and out of the game. Dave Rennie was pretty good at throwing people in and out. And I think getting a little bit of continuity going is going to be good. I find interesting the Nick White and Ben Donaldson coming on both together. So you had the Reds first 5 and halfback together last week, and this week it's the Force first 5 and halfback together, which I think could be quite good because they're obviously well used to each other. And I've been quite impressed with Nick White this year. I thought he's had quite a good game. Yeah, it's a pretty good team actually. I did like how Joe Schmidt was talking about Tom Wright's try that he got, and even Daguni's try. And he mentioned that it was the little things Hunter Paisami and Fluke did that took the players away from both of those two and allowed them to score, which I thought was really good. So seeing a little bit of flow in the team and people creating space, and I think that's a really, really good thing to go. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the team. I think it's good. I think Wales might struggle a bit. I think biggest problem with Wales is having Wainwright out. I thought he had an outstanding game last week, and they're going to miss him this week. I think also that for a second game, the Wallabies will improve more than Wales. I know Wales aren't quite the set team, and they're new and a lot of new players and everything else, but this is their third game together, and a lot of them have played together previously. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Wallabies win again, and let's hope so.
Yeah. I was satisfied as a Wallabies fan. It just felt like the team played as if there were adults in charge. They actually looked like they had a plan. They didn't try to be too expensive. They didn't try to do anything ridiculous, but they actually looked like they had a bit of a plan. They understood what they wanted to do, and there was a little bit more maturity about their play. And just the set piece component of it. They'd won 93% of their lineouts. You know, that's such an important part of the high level game, is getting that line out. And anything over 85 is considered very good. So 15 lineouts for 14 wins is really good. Wales only had 75%. So it just means you're getting all of those starting opportunities with first phase to be on point. It's more important than scrums. Scrums is more psychological for the opposition if you're dominating scrums, but line out is in technical terms gives you better starter players. But things like line outs were good, on point. Their restarts, they had 7 restarts received, and their success rate on that was like 87%. So they've actually, to your point, Carl, that's like that when you score points, the exits the last portion of that.
Yep.
And to be running at 87% means they've exited well almost all the time, which just again feeds into that thing of not bringing pressure on yourself. So really happy with that. Do love the look of this team. I think Ben Donaldson been awesome this year, and I hope he goes well. Nick White's been in good form. I wouldn't have Langy Gleeson in there, and we all spoke about Angus Blythe last week. I'd still have Nick Frost and any number of other number 8s instead of Langy Gleeson. I think if Harry Wilson was fit, he'd be in that spot this week. For the Wells,
that Frost hasn't got a run. Yeah, it is. It's interesting.
Yeah. Frost or
before these 2 Test matches, you would have thought he was just about a shoo-in. So.
Oh, look, in my view, he's probably the most athletic second rower that Australia's got at the moment.
Not saying that Angus Blythe did anything wrong. I think his tackling rate was up while he was on. Was like one of the highest in the group.
Yeah. But if you use that old thing about body of work, I just don't think he's got the body of work behind him this year.
Yeah.
I think Nick Frost did. But overall, really happy with it as a start. As you say, it's not perfect. You don't want it to be perfect.
Interesting you say about the restarts. Happy that the one restart we did stuff up resulted in the Welsh try. So
yeah,
it is critical to get those restarts right.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to be winning, certainly you've ball off your own scrum. You can be winning 90% of your lineouts. That's elite. And once you get those restarts sorted, it's very hard to beat a team that's doing all of those things at a high level.
But again, if you don't let them score, you don't have to worry about the restart. So maybe stopping them scoring is a better idea.
Yeah. Well, you get the restart when you score. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So you want to be taking lots of restarts and getting them right.
Well, potentially, receiving, yeah.
Yeah. So, look, overall, pretty happy with the result, pretty happy with the game. The only thing I'd counsel Australian fans, let's not get too carried away with ourselves. We play Wales again this week, then we play Georgia, and then the rest of our games are against teams that are ranked above us. We play twice against Argentina, they're 7th. We play Scotland once, they're 6th. We play England once, they're 5th. We don't play the French, they're 4th. We play New Zealand twice, they're 3rd. We play Ireland once, they're 2nd. And we play South Africa twice, they're 1st. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, just calm our farm, but we're not world champions yet. But if we do get ourselves going, we have a good season, our ranking of 8th is going to be a distant memory at the end of the year. But there's a lot of hard work between now and then to do that. Let's be real. Okay, let's hit the other games. The other games for the weekend. We're not going to go through. We don't have team lists for Ireland and South Africa as yet. We'll touch on that game later, but we'll go through the New Zealand England game first.
Just go through the changes, mate. There's only one in the starting lineup and one in the reserves.
Okay, you want to tell me who they are?
Yeah, so obviously with the halfback change, so you've got Finlay Christie starting, and which brings in obviously Cortez Radama for his first test off the bench, and other than that, they've kept the same team, which I'm actually really happy with. I'm not a huge Christie fan. I think that he's very good running with the ball. Defensively, he's outstanding. I don't think his passing is fast enough to do what they need. So from my years of refereeing, I've noticed that rush defences, the way you beat a rush defence is by having continuous attacking moves, which doesn't allow the defence to part to actually get set and come rushing back again. And to do that, you need a halfback who's very quick on the ball, very quick passes, and always having someone running through. I still see Christie stop too much and try to get his offense set up properly how he wants it. And every time he's doing that, he's just letting the defense get settled so they're ready to do the rush defense again. And I think it's a much better, certainly under Aaron Smith, we just got the ball out fast and people coming through. Defence didn't get time to set up every time. You broke their pattern, and that's how you created that space and got through. And I think we need to do that a little bit more. I didn't think Rico had a very good game last week, and I was hoping ALB had come on a little bit faster than what he did, but maybe he just had a bad game. He is learning to pass earlier and create space rather than do it by himself, but I still think that's a weakness. But other than that, I'm really happy. I think the team, for a first up run, went out well. They dug deep. They pulled out a win that was needed, and there's a shot clock this week, so it's going to be on the screen. So we won't have that rubbish that we had last week from old DMAC, which was quite funny. I did giggle at that, I must admit.
I had a laugh
Yes.
because the Kiwis have been fighting against the shot clock all season. They didn't want it, and then when it affected them,
Now they all want it.
it was instantly available. You know,
Yeah.
next week, we're going to have a shot clock now. I'm going, okay, yes.
I think the issue with the shot clock is that they haven't yet made it so that the shot clock they show at the ground overrides what the referee or anyone else does. So the referee can call a time that's different to the shot clock, either shorter or longer, because the shot clock isn't synced up to his timing yet. And I think that's the problem with it. They haven't yet sorted out how they sync what's shown to the crowd with what the referee's got. You know, because unless the referee says press and it starts, then he could have a different time. And then you're going to get the thing where, you know, he calls DMAC for taking too long and everyone's crying because there's still 3 seconds left on the shot clock in the crowd. And I think that's the issue that people have got. They haven't sorted out how to do that properly yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny, and I did laugh at all the calls for the shot clock after everyone saying no, they didn't want it. But hey, there you go.
But nobody's prepared. You know, nobody's prepared to be the turkey that votes for Thanksgiving. So it's one of those things, isn't it? England teams: George Furbank, Fayabo. So I won't go through their team. It's a good team. That Finn Baxter, who looks like he's about 12 years old, is starting at loosehead instead of Joe Marler, which means Bevan Rod comes onto the bench. I actually want to pay a bit of credit to Joe Marler. He's had a long and outstanding international career. You know, he's been pretty much a world-class loosehead prop for 10 or 11 years. So fair play to him. You can talk about some of his other antics and all that sort of stuff, and the fact he's got a really always had an odd haircut. But you know what? He's a character, and I think he'll be missed from the game. I don't mind Bloke at all, to be fair.
Has he retired?
This will be his last game. It's his last tour. He's his last tour, and he's going to retire at the end of next year from the English game. So
I thought he was only like 33 or something.
33, 34. So, but I think he's got. If you listen, he's got a few other bits and pieces going on with podcasts and live. You know, a bit of stuff happening off the field. So I think he's sort of reached a point where he doesn't necessarily need to play and doesn't want to beat himself up anymore.
Fair enough, too.
Yeah. KARL, I know which way you're going to go in the game. How much do you think the All Blacks are going to win by?
I reckon they'll win by 12 points plus, more than 12 points. I think they'll cut loose. I think when Razor looks back at last week, he might have thought that he should have perhaps made some changes in the reserves a little bit earlier, and that the people he brought on played really well, but he didn't give them enough time to actually do anything. So I expect to see perhaps a few replacements come on earlier and carving it up. I'm quite confident. I think the record at Eden Park is going to stay for another year, or for another game anyway.
Bowie, thoughts?
Yeah, I think for a brand new coaching team, I think they did pretty well, the All Blacks guys, and I think they will get better. It's a big change going from Crusaders coach, long-term Crusaders coach, into a new environment where you haven't got players like long-term and you've got a short time to meld the team together. So it's a different way of thinking about things. So and he probably hasn't done that for a very long time. So yeah, I think he's done very well getting there, and it's only going to get better from here, I think. So, and saying that, I think England played very, very well. I was very impressed with the way they played, and but I'm not sure that they can improve by as much as the All Blacks can improve in a week. So, yeah, I'll probably go about the same as KARL. I think, yeah, about a dozen points I'm hoping for in the All Blacks' favour. I think they'll be better than last week. I was very impressed with the second row last week. Yeah, and I'm very, very sad to see TJ Perenara get that knee bent the wrong way like that. That was looked very painful. I hope it's not too bad. But yeah, it's a bit sad that they haven't got. They don't seem to have the quality. I mean, the halfbacks are quality, but not Aaron Smith quality. But that's a once in a lifetime player, wasn't he? So,
Yeah, he was. He'll be missed. It'll be interesting to see how Itoje go this week. He had a fantastic game last week. He disrupted the line out. He seemed to understand where the ball was going. I wouldn't mind betting the forwards are doing a fair bit of work on lineouts this week to try and stop that, because he was very, very good last week. England played well. They absolutely did it. I mean, they only lost by a point. They left 12 points on the field through kicking. We left 9 points on the field through kicking. So, if everyone had got their kicks, we would have lost. So, yeah, it's an interesting two close teams. It'll be interesting to see how it goes again this week.
and it was interesting that both those kickers are known for not missing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically 21 points.
I've actually heard that kickers have said that in a stadium like down in Dunedin, where the roof is closed, the lack of wind, they find it harder to kick, because kickers are used to kicking and having the wind guide the ball, and when there's no wind, they struggle. And interesting, I wouldn't have thought of that, but I've heard it from a couple of people that's sometimes a problem when you go into these games into these fields where the roof is covered up and there's no wind. A lot of kickers do struggle and find it harder.
Okay. It's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I could see that being the case. It's sort of that almost like hitting a when the ball's got no spin on it, it almost floats around side to side.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a close game. I think England are well up for it. They've been playing some good rugby, to be fair. Like the end of the Six Nations, they were finishing on strong. They beat Ireland. They've got some good players. It's one of the few times you kind of look at the England 10 and the New Zealand 10 and you go, you know what, I think the England 10 is probably a little bit more creative, or a little bit more, he's got a little bit more 10 about him. To your point, you think Damien McKenzie's a 15. Marcus Smith is a very good 10.
Yeah.
Playing for a very good club and playing some high-level stuff. So it'll be close. I mean, New Zealand just don't lose in Auckland, which is kind of a thing that I think will just be enough. It's probably going to. it's probably going to be another crappy night in Auckland, and
No, it's going to be fine. I'm actually going to be over there sitting at the game, so I'm leaving tomorrow to fly to New Zealand, and I'll be at the game with a bunch of my mates, and it's going to be fine. So it'll be cold, but yep.
Very good.
Cool.
Very good.
It's just that the England New Zealand Test match last weekend was the game of the weekend for me. I enjoyed that one the most. It was on the knife edge the whole night, and it was fast and it was furious. Yeah, it was a great game, and I enjoyed that more than the Irish South African game and our game even. Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
Yeah, I can't comment. I didn't see the New Zealand game. I saw the South Africa Ireland game, which was a cracking game in my view. It was just fantastic.
I thought it was a great game. Yeah, I really enjoyed that too.
Yeah,
and the last Irish try, that was just a thing of beauty, where they tip ball from the I think the hooker to one of the props running an inside line, with another prop further inside running a dummy. Just a beautiful try. And it's the sort of play where you look at it and you go, that is just, you just got to applaud it. And I think if you're I've always taken the view, if you're a team that lose to a try like that, you just got to go, you know what, well played. Cracking game. The Irish have got a fair few injuries this week, unsurprisingly. Dan Sheehan, who I think a lot of people regard as the best hooker in the world at the moment, he's got a knee. One of their props has got a hand injury. He got his hand trodden on. And there's a few other bits and bangs. Their halfback got deleted by R.G. Steinman. Some say on the ball, some say off the ball. All I know is he's got pretty badly concussed and obviously missed this week. So, look, in South Africa, I'll take South Africa in that game, but I think it'll be a pretty tough old game as well. What do you reckon, Carl?
Yeah, I think I don't think South Africa went as well as what they thought they would in that game. They struggled in parts of it, and the Irish played really well. When you look at things like that stupid try where Lowe flicked the ball back with no one there and gave it straight to a South African who ran away and scored. A dumb, if he hadn't done that, then the whole game changes. So I think that Ireland struggled with the pace of the game. I think the game that the South Africans played, despite them using their big forwards, I think they actually play a very fast game. They always have someone on the move, and I think Ireland struggled with that, but they'll be aware of it and they will have trained for that this week. So I think they'll change. Ireland are a good side, and I think that I expect South Africa to win, but I actually think that Ireland will put up a fight. I don't think it'll be a big win at all. I think it'll be another quite close game, to be honest.
Sully, thoughts?
Yeah, I always thought Ireland would struggle up in the at altitude. So I think they'll do better this game. But yeah, I didn't think South Africa looked as strong as they did last year. And I think a few of their forwards are looking a bit old. Might be the right word I'm trying to think of. Still very, very good, but just not at the level that they were. And I think there might be like a change of personnel coming up in the next year or so with those guys. And Ireland, I think they'll do all right. But yeah, I agree that South Africa's still in the box seat for this one, for me.
Yeah. Look, I think the Sappers have, and the Irish as well, have penciled this in as an important series. And that's why the Sappers haven't rotated their squad a little bit more. They've stuck with the guys who got the job done at the World Cup, because they really, having lost Ireland in the World Cup, they wanted to make a statement. I actually like the way the Sappers played. You can see that Tony Brown, the Kiwi and Japanese coach, his fingerprints all over the playing a little bit wider in the wider channels with some of their loose forwards. That was lovely to see out of the Sappers, and it was good to see their game evolve a little bit. Yeah, I just think they'll be just a little bit too strong. My only knock on that, I mean, it was a fine margin game. You know, I don't know why they called that try back for James Lowe. I thought that was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, the referee was standing right there at the footage they used to prove that the guy had played the ball on the ground was the footage was taken directly over the referee's head, and the referee was standing right there 3 minutes from the thing. So should have been play on in my view. Look, you know, Cheslin Colby chases those things down. More fair play to him. So it was just a close game. My big knock is it's the home broadcaster thing. You know, when the James Lowe, they're trying to find definitive evidence as to whether James Lowe put his foot down or not. Funnily enough, all the camera angles were from the moon. Did you notice that? Like it was literally from the other side of the field. We don't have a camera anywhere near it. I was kind of expecting a thing to come out, but James Lowe scored a try in the Six Nations where he was definitely out, and suddenly, you know, the footage only appeared after the try was awarded and game had gone on. So the Irish can't take the high moral ground on that one, and frankly, nor can we. So yeah, that's where I think we'll go. Gents, fairly quick one this week. Last segment, bit of shouting at clouds. Anything getting in your gate at the moment, Sully?
Yes, it's a very important thing I've got to bring up this week. It's how team lists are bought out. So instead of numbers 1 to 15 is awesome. 15 to 1 I can live with, but 15 to 9, then 1 to 8, it just needs to be banned. So World Rugby, please just get rid of that stupid numbering. It just drives me crazy.
You're showing your age, mate.
15 to 9, 1 to 8, and then 16 to 23. That's just crazy. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. It's trying to figure out where players are and stuff like that. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. I'm here for the big issues. Okay?
You are.
Oh,
it's great to hear, mate. Hey, I tell you
while you're at it, why don't you go on about why is the substitute hooker 16, the substitute lucid 17, and the substitute tight head 18 when you know loose head's 1, hookers like that takes a little bit of getting used to as well.
Yeah.
You guys have really got the important things on your mind this week, haven't you?
Mate, straight into the weeds. Let's go straight to the weeds.
I just hope the TMO doesn't interfere as much this week. I thought last week.
That's my other issue, Carl. That there was a lot of stuff that the TMO didn't have to say anything about. I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the TMO has got a role to play, and until World Rugby define it in a different way, then they have got a role to play, and they need to bring these things up. But I think that last week there were a couple that probably went a little bit far. I can understand in South Africa, you know, if you don't want to be on the end of a two-hour video rant by our dear friend Erasmus, then you probably need to be exceptionally technical in the way you referee, because when you referee tactically, it's very easy to say you got it wrong, because the person who sees what you do doesn't know why you didn't think something was material or not. And the referee often doesn't get a chance to explain it. So it's very easy when you're refereeing tactically for someone like Erasmus or someone else to go and claim you're wrong, put up a video clip and say why you were wrong. But they don't ever say, well, you know, why didn't you think that had a material effect? And if the referee can come out and say, well, I didn't think it had a material effect because of blah, blah, it would prove he wasn't wrong, but you're never given that chance. So I can understand why the games in South Africa are refereed a lot more technical, which means there is a lot more TMO interference. But I think in Australia and in New Zealand, we don't need that crap.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was listening to another pod this week, and they were talking about exactly that point, and they made the point that in Australia and New Zealand, we're competing again, you know, in terms of our viewership, competing against the NRL component and the AFL, which is all very much driven about, trying to make the product faster. In South Africa, they're not. They are the main sport, so they don't give two shits about whether it takes 10 weeks to get the right result, because that's part of the game as far as they're concerned. It's more important for it to be correct. As a result, they over officiate it, and the reason they over officiate it is they because they've got these big power athletes, they've developed their team to be big power athletes. They win the power game, so they're happy for stoppages at every 15 seconds because they don't want the game to be fast.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? And it's interesting that the referees brought up in that environment aren't being brought into the high level of refereeing in World Rugby now. There's no South African referee at a high level in World Rugby now on the field, and I think a lot of it is because whilst that might be good in South Africa and it might be happy for the South Africans, the rest of the world, it's not just us. The rest of the world doesn't want to see that. They want games to flow. They want speed. They want excitement. They want games to flow. Having 7 guys come on with 20 minutes to go and have a brand new pack isn't something that the rest of the world wants to see. And so the referees aren't getting opportunities based on that, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah. I've long been in favour of just dropping, all about having 8 people on the bench, but you're not allowed to use all 8.
Look, I think they need to make some laws on that. I think the laws need to change. How do we bring fatigue in it? How do we bring it back to a game for all body sizes and all that sort of stuff? And by the way, get your bloody players fit so they can last 80 minutes.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm a big fan of, bringing fatigue and into the game, and I think you do that. And one of the arguments people make is, it's about player safety. I don't think it's actually safe for a guy who, for whatever, say you're a tight head and you're reserve tight head, the starting tight head has to go off after 2 minutes for whatever reason, and you've got to do 78 minutes, and then so you deal with the first guy, and then a brand new, fresh 135 kilo human comes on and starts banging on you at the end of the game. Explain to me how that's safe.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree. I think it is dangerous.
Yes.
I must admit that the day South Africa gets 3 injuries in the back line and have 2 props running on the wing is a day I'm going to laugh and laugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But to be fair, they could run Quacker Smith in the centres. He's that kind of good player. So
true.
It is a thing, but it does. I would rather see almost down to, you can use, there's 15 players, you can use 8 on the bench, you can only use 4, and if you use more than 4, you got to drop a player through injury. Yep. So, and it brings more tactics into the game of, this is what I think, it brings more tactics in of, okay, if I use this guy, it means I've got 1 less. So if I have to push all my chips into the middle and it doesn't work out and someone gets a knock, well, now I'm down to 14. How does that work? So it brings a bit more jeopardy and a bit more interest into it that way, rather than just rolling on half a team of new players. I don't like it. Never have. Anyway, does anyone know who the refs are this weekend? Because
I haven't seen them yet.
Generally, the ARs for the game on the weekend were Dolman and Ben O'Keefe. So do we still get the French guy, or do we have Ben O'Keefe? Or do we get Dolman?
Google is my friend, mate. I'll just look at it.
Yeah, because I
keep talking. I'll find something else. There you go.
Yeah. So
men's internationals. Here we go. Right, the referees. Referees this weekend. We are 10th of July. Uruguay versus France. I won't worry about that one. Scott Tom Ridley. Australia, Wales. So you've got Nicky Amashikeli from Georgia.
Okay, he did a good job last week. Yeah.
Yep, the guy refereed New Zealand. And Matthew Carley and Paul Williams are the assistant ARs, and Glenn Newman is the TMO. We've got Nick Berry, and we've got Damon Murphy and Pierre Brissot as assistant ARs, or assistant referees, sorry. And we've got Brett Cronin as a referee TMO.
TMO, yeah. Cronin's
Excuse me. Yeah, South Africa have got KARL Dixon and Luke Pearce and Craig Evans as ARs. So
Yeah. Cronin makes a good team though, because he goes pretty quick. So, which I think will advantage them. I don't really have anything to jump up and down about this week. I had a great weekend of rugby. The only thing I'd counsel anyone who's listening at the moment, I put up a piece today about a young guy in the local comp who got injured, and they put a GoFundMe page. Jump on the G&GR website, and if you've got the time and you're not in Brisbane, give the man some money, because he's had a pretty devastating injury, and we certainly wish him all the best for his future and for his recovery.
Okay.
Yeah. You all done, Sully?
Yeah, mate, I'm all done.
Carl?
Yeah, all good, guys.
Okay. Let's enjoy our rugby on the weekend, gents. And
Absolutely.
again,
Have a good one.
Yeah,
and
I'll
be sitting in the stand at Eden Park cheering on the All Blacks.
I hope it's cold, mate. I hope it's real cold.
I-
That thin Australian blood of yours starts to work your way through. If you're still listening, download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those good things. And bye from me. See you later, Sully.
Yep.
See you later, guys.
See ya.
If you don't know anything about rugby, don't talk.
Regan. Drop goal from Larkham.
Australia 3-4. They've got the advantage.
Worst press conference. Well done, boys.